Contract signed for new West Bank Road. Guyana, Suriname clash over fishing licenses. School feeding program launched. And 1.3 billion I am Rico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Here you see what's happening. Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Today, the Housing Ministry signed a contract for the construction of the $11.8 billion Guyana four-lane road from Schoonard, West Bank Demerara to Crane on the west coast. The contractors are VR Construction Incorporated, Avinash Contracting and Scrap Metal Incorporated, Le Herders Construction and Services Incorporated, Guy America Construction Inc., AJM Enterprise, Vowels Construction, Puran Brothers Disposal Inc., and JS Guyana Incorporated. The project will see the construction of 4.1 kilometers of a dual carriageway reinforced concrete road with an emergency lane, as well as 2.4 kilometers of road rehabilitation and upgrade. It will also feature 2 roundabouts, 11 reinforced concrete box culverts, and 36 bridges. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, is set to make his first official visit to Guyana next week, taking up an invitation that was extended to him by our president earlier this year during the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Rwanda. His delegation is coming to examine closer ties with Guyana in a number of areas. The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports has announced the triumphant return of the Guyana Prize for Literature after an absence of more than 6 years. With a number of new categories and rules added, the Culture Ministry is hoping that the return of the prize will foster and improve the rich Guyanese literature and talent locally and internationally. The Guyana Prize for Literature was started under the late President Desmond Hoyt and the BNC government. It continued over the years at different periods under the PPP government, but became completely non-existent under the coalition government. Honestly, I'm happy for its return, as the prize is literally the largest given for a Caribbean arts competition. Also, I'm happy for the return because, let's be honest, the coalition did absolutely nothing to improve culture in this nation. I mean, we've yet to get a cultural policy, even though we were promised one since day one. The honeymoon period between Guyana and Suriname's newly elected governments has apparently ended over fishing rights. On Monday, the Guyanese government condemned the Suriname authorities' treatment of Guyanese fishermen and urged them to uphold the commitment it had made to issue 150 fishing licenses to them nearly 2 years ago. According to the statement from the Guyanese government, it was agreed that Suriname would form a company to issue the license to the fishermen, and the agreement should have already been enacted by January 1st of 2022, as they already sent a list of the fishermen to the agriculture minister over there in Suriname. However, this issue is getting the opposition and the private sector in Paramaribo fishing mad. They said the deal stinks like rotten fish. Not only is it illegal under their current laws, but they are demanding transparency in the process, as well as an explanation as to how Suriname would benefit financially from allowing a group of illegal Guyanese fishermen to profit from their waters. And despite the strong words from Guyana's government, Suriname's Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, Paramanand Sudian, says he remembers the agreement between the two countries differently. In April 2022, he denied that there ever was such an agreement, and even said that the considerable pressure is now being exerted and increased on Suriname so openly is unacceptable. Sudan says that his government only agreed to examine Guyana's proposal as it's illegal under their current laws. He also said that when he received the list of the names, he had reportedly indicated that those permits should be revoked immediately, saying that a tentative conclusion that could be drawn is that in most cases, copied permits have been leased to the Guyanese. Guyana cannot invoke these illegally traded licenses and derive rights from them. According to the minister, there are also many cases of double and multiple boats with the same name and registration number. Also boats without name and registration numbers as well. Considering the fraud allegedly detected in that system, one can only assume what fraudulence takes place locally. Your home is your most valuable asset, so before you sign on the dotted line, call VGS Home Inspections. They are a licensed and insured home inspection company with professionals operating in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, and Westchester County. From electrical and plumbing issues to a leaky roof. If there's a fault in the house, VJS will find it using the latest industry technology, including infrared scanners, HD drones, and more. So if you're buying or selling a home in New York, make the smart choice. Call VGS Home Inspections at 914-510 813-9356 and tell them Noriko sent you. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. The Education Ministry has launched the National Breakfast Program, which will provide a daily meal to grade 6 pupils in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. The Education Minister said that it is the state's duty to help children as far as finances allow. Additionally, she said that the school feeding program has shown increased attendance and enrollment at schools around the world. She said that this year, $267 million Ghana dollars is being expended on the breakfast program for every grade 6 child on the coast and Region 10, while the children in the hinterland regions, outside of Region 10, are already benefiting from a separate feeding program. The burnt remains discovered at Yarrow Cabra by the police on Sunday are believed to be those of Mark Melville, a man from Parfait Harmony on the West Bank who went missing 2 Mondays ago. His family believes it's him based on the possessions found on the body. Reports indicate that there appears to be chop wounds to the skull and other parts of the body, and the body was stuffed into a suitcase and then burnt. DNA testing may now have to be pursued to confirm that the remains are indeed Melville's. The police are currently investigating the death of 36-year-old GDF Corporal Terry Frazier after he was found with a wound to his throat at the Belladrum Sedam, West Coast Berbice. According to the police, he died on Tuesday morning of a suspected self-inflicted wound just a short while after he had threatened to take his own life. Now for today's oil update. With contract negotiations for the planned gas-to-energy project set to begin during the early parts of October, the government is looking to hire a consultant firm to provide legal and commercial advisory services as well as negotiation support for the project. The firm is expected to provide its services for some 45 days. Both the government and Exxon seem to be moving ahead with their plans for the gas-to-energy project despite the absence of any environmental permit from the EPA. Curious indeed. In other oil news, as of August 31st, Guyana's Natural Resources Fund held over US $949.9 million, or 198 billion Guyana dollars. At the end of August, no royalties were collected. There were also no withdrawals. Thus far, the government has made 2 withdrawals of US $200 million from the fund. Hence, oil revenues to Guyana since oil production began is in excess of US $1.3 billion. The country's finance ministry recently noted that the state is expected to have 13 lifts of profit oil from the Starbrook block for this year. The government is now projected to earn $1.1 billion as revenue from the sale of its share of profit oil, which spiked since the conflict in Ukraine began. To date, there has been no investment mandate for the fund, and all petroleum revenues are held as U.S. cash deposits in the Natural Resources Fund account. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is the 2016 Suzuki Jimny Sierra 4-wheel drive. It comes with regular and low-range 4-wheel drive Bluetooth mount rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $3.4 million. All pay as low as $700,000 down, with around $67,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. Are you a truck owner? Pay close attention. Avoid lengthy downtime when your truck broke down. Get high-quality DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot D1161 EE Echoes, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for our Uncut News, Viewers Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday, I asked, how do you feel about the Common Entrance Exam? Given the impact it has on a student's academic career, do you believe it is fair? If not, what should we do instead? Lash says it's a terrible assessment. I mean, I got school pride, but the way kids have to write that pressure-ridden exam should be criminal, as some may even experience trauma at the hands of their parents. Oh yeah, especially if they beat them if they do terribly. I'd suggest that the government, through the Ministry of Education, use some of the oil money, because we got plenty, to modernize all public schools so that all of them can produce equal quality students. This includes proper training of teachers as well. Once this is done, students can be assigned schools based on which district they live in. I agree with you 100%. So before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. How do you feel about the school feeding program? Should it be expanded to lunch as well, or should the money be spent in other ways to further education? I want you to think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.